Hi, this is Chuck, and you are watching a tutorial on how to add a practitioner survey response form. So I just want to give a brief example of what to do if you're on the survey response team and a practitioner submits a survey. Um, as just a heads up, there's a terrific page called Practitioner Survey Response Form Editor that really takes you step by step in how to do this. Uh, it has kind of how to email, how to respond to practitioners. It has a couple email templates if you want to reach out to new practitioners. Um, it has tips about creating the page and adding them to the practitioner directory with another template for that as well. There is quite a bit of information here. But let's go back one step and just say a practitioner sent one in. I set up a test one with Audrey Berdesky. She's already have a survey response form in here on the wiki, so I'm just going to make a couple changes to it, just to serve as an example. So the first step is to type the name of the page you want into the search box. So all of them are going to start off with survey response colon space, and then the practitioner's name, Audrey Berdesky. Then, as I mentioned, there's already one there, but I'm just going to change it up and do 2, then we're going to put her degree. Then just hit enter. So as we see in the search results, there's not a page already named this, but we can create the page by clicking on the red link. We do that, and we have the page. The next step is to copy the text that we have. Most of the time, the text is going to be in a Word document similar to this one. So I'm just going to copy it, go back to the wiki page, and paste it into the page. As you can see, all the formatting that was on the Word document is gone. So basically, the hardest part is simply just doing this, just reformatting it, which really isn't that hard. It simply involves bolding a lot of the text. I've also found that it is important to add breaks after each line so it lines up correctly. Basically, all the break does is tell the computer to make a new paragraph. But I'm sure that's probably the non-technical way to say it. And so simply, the next step is to just go through each one and add bold on the text and breaks after each line. I've found that the breaks are also helpful whenever you're doing addresses. Oops, made the same mistake again. Just as a reminder, the 3 bold apostrophes around the text is the code for bold. And you could type them yourself, or you could just simply hit the bold tag at the top. And so I'm going to preview real quick. As we can see, it's dropping. For just a quick, I'm only going to do part of it right now. A quick reason why you want to add those BRs is that if you look at the ones that I did, this looks really nice, it's formatted, it drops to the new line. The ones that I did not add the BRs, which was the part of the text I did not edit, it's just one big paragraph. That's why we kind of want to have it like that. So at this point, I'm just going to save it real quick. I'm going to do created page. You can put anything in the summary that you want to, but creating page is pretty basic. And here we have it. So once you have the survey response form, the next step is to link to it so people know that we have it. So we have a landing page called TMS Professional Survey Responses. You can find it right here in the toolbar, or you could also come up to the search box and do TMS Professional Survey Responses, and this will take you here. And if we scroll down, we can get to TMS Therapist who completed the survey. This is where we want to go. We're going to click Edit. The one thing to keep in mind is that this list is organized alphabetically. So we want to find where Berdesky would go in right after Baricelli and right before Conley. So we're just gonna do this. This is gonna be just a simple link to the survey response page that we just made. Response, space, Audrey Berdesky. Oops, gotta add the 2, add the bar again, and then we're going to put the displayed text of Audrey Berdesky 2, DC, add the link, and then we also have a flag. And to do the flag, a lot of times whenever I'm editing, I just try and see, if there's something next to it that's similar. Luckily, in this instance, we have a lot of image files of the US flag, so I just copied one from another one, such as the Deborah Conley one, and pasted it where I wanted the new one. Hit preview. Okay, now this is an interesting thing. So we have Audrey Berdesky 2, American flag, but as you can see, it's on the same line as Andrea Baricelli. Looks like we also have this problem up here on the Jonna Lee Barta and Jeffrey Axelbank. And if we look closely, simply because there's not that space there. I think probably the best way to do it would be to add those breaks again, but it looks like the spaces here is what's kind of what the page has been doing before. Alright, that's taking a while. So I'm just going to save it and see what happens. I'm going to do added Berdesky, save the page, and right there. Click on it to double check, it takes us right to where we want to go. And that's basically it. So that is how you add the survey response and how you create the link on the main landing page for the survey response forms. But let's say what do we do if Audrey Berdesky is just starting out? She just contacted us about being a TMS practitioner, and she also wants to be added on our practitioner directory. That's great. We would love to add people on the directory. So the next step would be to go, I'm going to go to a different page. Oops, don't want to see that. The next step would be to go to the Find a Doctor page. And I'm just going to briefly show you how to create an entry here. So the first step would be, if we're still doing this Audrey Berdesky 2, where is she from? Well, as we can see from her contact information, she practices in Sterling Heights, Michigan. So we need to add her to the Michigan section. Just gonna click the link there. So this is what we want it to look like. But again, we're using Audrey Berdesky, so I'm just gonna kind of adjust it some. So if we get to the state, we're gonna see an edit button here. We're gonna click edit. You can click the main edit button at the very top. However, you'll have to go through the entire page. By clicking it next to the state, you'll get just that one heading section. So the only things we're going to see right now are the Michigan sections. It just makes it a little bit easier to handle, especially whenever we're dealing with such a um, large page. So, the one good thing that I've found about this page is that it's basically, you have a lot of examples on how to edit from the other states and the other entries. So, as we can see, this is organized somewhat by alphabetically too. Just something to keep in mind. So you find the next space. So we have Roger Geitzen. He's a G. Berdesky's a B. We want to put it before Geitzen. But the good news is that we can pretty much use the exact same format that's in here. We also have a format on the page I showed you earlier, if I can remember what it is. Oops. Practitioner Survey Response Form Editor. At the very bottom, you also have the template for this. But if you don't have it or you forget it, you can always just copy the exact same format right here. So this time I'm just going to base it off of the Geitzen entry. As I can see, it calls a template. The template is called Practitioner Box. So I'm going to do bracket bracket, Practitioner Box, bar, contents equals. So basically all this is saying is that we are calling a template that's called Practitioner Box, and then we're going to do a bar contents equals. This just says this is the following is what goes into the template. I'm going to drop to a line. As we can see, it starts off with the practitioner's name in bold, so I'm going to do 3 apostrophes, Audrey Berdesky 2, still doing the fake one, comma, and this is the degree that she has. So Geitzen is a medical doctor, so it's practitioner's degrees hashtag MD. We want to do practitioner's degrees hashtag. I'm not entirely sure what it is, so I'm just going to go to the page and check. So let's go to practitioner's degrees. Well, it looks like we don't really have to even do that. But we'll just go DC anyways, bar, DC, bracket, bracket. And then it looks like we also have, okay, and then we close the bold, another space. So yeah, this is one that I'm just going to copy and paste. I'm just going to copy the other page as calling. As you can see, I'm going to do it really quick here. As you can see on each entry, it's bold, the name and the degree are bold. Then there's a, in parentheses it has if they're what type of practitioner they are. Are they a therapist? Are they a physician? And I think that's pretty important to know. So we have how we categorize TMS professionals. This is the page that the therapist or the physician links to. So on this one, we're just going to add therapist. Close it. Oops, that's not it. Parentheses. But there's also a link there. So I had it right the first time. And then I can also see, like on the survey response form, this page is also going to use quite a bit of breaks. So I'm going to add a break there. The next step, I want to actually go back to the template that I showed you earlier, the last page. After the how we categorize, we have intro text. So once you put their name and the degree and what type they are, we can kind of put some introduction text. This is particularly helpful if they've actually submitted the survey. And so in this case, I can actually go to the new page I just made. Oops. come down and just grab something. So let's just say grab you. I think the best way to do it would be to simply read the survey response form and kind of come up with your own intro text yourself. But just for simplicity, I'm just going to show you, I'm going to just use generic text. This is just taking directly from there. I wouldn't really recommend doing this if on an actual entry. Let's add another break. We're going to come down, and then the next thing we're going to do is add the contact information. So if we come up, the contact information we already have, maybe. Okay. In this part, you can basically just copy it right from the survey page. Do street address, phone number. What else does she have? She has a website. That, as a reminder, the code to do an external link, a link to a website, a different website, is one bracket, the URL, space, and then whatever you want the display text to be. So once we have that, again, if you have any questions, you can just easily drop by and see what the other ones are doing. So this one goes and has an email on there, and so I also want to try and find her email address. If we have it, don't think we have it. Okay, so we don't have her email address, so that's okay. What else can we add? We can also add her survey response forms. We're going to go bar survey response bar or colon Audrey Berdesky 2 DC. And with the display text here, I'm just going to go and do survey response, close it. And if there's other information, you can add it, but that's pretty much it. So what I want to do, oops, I need to add some more breaks in here. Oops, that's not it. Again, whenever you're doing addresses like this, it's always important to have the breaks after it. So the next step to do, once we have pretty much all the information in it, is to close the template. Remember, a template starts by 2 curly brackets. I'm going to close it by adding the 2 curly brackets. I'm also going to add another break in there between these separate boxes. If I preview this, we see the original Audrey Berdesky right here. We see the one we just made right here. Again, it's not near as complete. This is just to kind of show you how to do it. And there it is. The color is automatically added through the template you use, so you don't really have to worry about that. But it's pretty straightforward. And if you follow the templates and kind of whatever the other entries on the page, you should be able to figure it out. And that is about it. Probably the hardest part is doing the practitioner entry. So if you have any questions about that, feel free to ask. Someone will be able to help you out. And if you have any questions about the survey, they're pretty straightforward to do, but we can also help you with that as well. It's great that you're taking an interest in being part of the survey response team, and I hope you found this helpful. Have a great day.